Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to see you here. I am Kara Turrentine, president of the Tennessee Advocates for Planned Parenthood board, and I'm so grateful that you are here with us this morning. We are excited to give you an overview of the reproductive health care impact, the changes that have happened in the election over this last week. We're going to connect the dots this morning between Kamala Harris and her newly endorsed candidacy by our TAPP board and how that ties into Tennessee. We're going to talk about how you can plug in and how we are 10 toes down for Kamala Harris and all of the ways that you can get involved and invest in this movement. So we are excited to have you here this morning. Make sure you share this link with some folks. Let them know this is happening. This is the moment. This is the time. And we invite you to stick around all the way to the end because we're going to be taking questions. We want you to have all of the tools you need to be a part of this movement and to help us continue to advance reproductive justice in Tennessee. I am excited right now to introduce one of my favorite people, the Planned Parenthood of Tennessee and Mississippi board chair and Planned Parenthood Action Fund member, Kristal Knight, to take us into our next section, along with our CEO, Ashley.
Good morning, and thank you so much, Kara, for that warm welcome and introduction and really just opening this wonderful day up. I'm really excited about this call today. And as Kara stated, I am the board chair for the statewide organization and just really excited about what is happening in this country. The nomination of Kamala Harris has sparked grassroots voter mobilization at historic levels. This is something that we have not seen to date, and I hope everyone that's here today is really excited about that. To date, 1.1 million individuals have already donated to her campaign, 62% of whom have made their first financial contribution of this election cycle. And that's something that we should all be excited about. $100 million has already been raised. Over 38,000 new voters have registered in the first 48 hours alone, 83% of them between the ages of 18 and 34. 58,000 people have signed up to volunteer, more than 100 times, which is more than the average per volunteer a day. Though polls have consistently shown that the majority of Americans and Tennesseans believe in bodily autonomy and reproductive freedom, we've never seen those numbers take action. Until now, this is the candidate that is moving people, moving their values, which makes it the most critical time for Planned Parenthood. I'm so excited to turn it over now to Ashley Coffield, who is our CEO of Planned Parenthood Tennessee and North Mississippi. And I'm turning it over to you, Ashley. Thank you.
I want to thank Kristal and I want to thank Kara for your leadership, for our affiliate. We could not do this work without you. Y'all, thank you for being here because we couldn't do this work without you either. Here is what's at stake right now. If Donald Trump wins, Planned Parenthood patients lose. We will be removed from the Medicaid program and likely become ineligible for federal grant programs like for HIV prevention. Community-based organizations like Planned Parenthood are the backbone of our nation's public health infrastructure because our communities trust us. State officials in Tennessee have already attempted to undermine public health by turning down millions in CDC money for HIV prevention, making HIV outbreaks more prevalent in our state, all in an effort to keep PPTNM from receiving these grant funds. The CDC circumvented the state within the Biden administration and returned that money to Tennessee through community-based organizations, including our affiliate, PPTNM, which has allowed us to distribute more than 1 million safer sex products and ramp up outreach HIV testing to combat the spread of HIV, especially in Memphis. The state then lost millions in federal Title X family planning funds to help lower income Tennesseans access birth control, STI testing and treatment, and other family planning services at reduced or no cost. This is because Tennessee refused to comply with federal rules to offer non-directive options counseling for pregnant patients, to give them fact-based referrals for abortion services when it's requested. The Biden administration, again, stepped in with a workaround, granting funds back to community-based organizations, including our affiliate. Here are just a few recent comments from our patient surveys. I was treated with respect and compassion today. The staff here has always made me feel welcome, and they've been very sensitive. I appreciate their judgment-free attitude and genuine concern for my well-being. I always enjoy coming here for HRT services. I always feel comfortable with the interactions and respected. Without federal protection, we are beholden to the whims of an empowered Tennessee supermajority, Governor Lee's political appointees, and conservative anti-freedom courts. Without a champion for reproductive rights in the White House, we likely face a national ban on abortion. With a repro champion in the White House, there's the possibility, y'all, with a pro-choice Congress, that we could bring abortion rights back nationwide. At a critical point in our history, we are evolving and expanding in Tennessee and Mississippi, despite the hostile political environment and climate here at home and total loss of abortion access. We are navigating hundreds of patients to abortion care in other states. We have expanded our programming and services into rural areas. We're now offering birth control and emergency contraception statewide in Mississippi and in Tennessee via our PP Direct app with home delivery of those medications. We're providing telehealth statewide in Tennessee to gender-affirming care patients who can't get to one of our physical health centers. We've got a really innovative condom distribution program that is expanding both access and engagement in Tennessee and Mississippi. Your donations make all this work and more possible. Kristal?
Most importantly, we've built a statewide coalition of progressive organizations that is powering the grassroots reproductive rights movement that's larger and stronger than anything we've seen in Tennessee. Kamala is saying we're going to get national abortion legislation on the ballot and we're going to sign it. She's going to sign it, which is something that we have not heard a president say, and we have not heard a woman candidate for president actually say that. So I want to be clear about that. But she's not going to have anything to sign if we don't help her. So this is where our work comes in. We need you to donate. I'm sure you will hear other folks say that throughout the day. But we need you to show up for our campaigns. We need you to show up for the actions that we're going to take across this state, because we cannot ensure that a candidacy of Kamala Harris gets in if we don't show up for her in Tennessee and do our part. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kara and Francie.
So here we are, the moment of truth. We have an opportunity in November to really make an impact on Tennessee like never before. You all have been in the trenches with us for reproductive justice. You know the hard work we're up against. And here's the truth. This is a historic moment. This is an opportunity to shift the tide. At the top of the ticket, we have Kamala Harris, a reproductive justice champion who is committed and fully aligned with our goals. And that includes breaking the supermajority in Tennessee. We know that this is going to cause historic levels of turnout in our state. We know that people are excited like never before, and we are counting on you to go out there and be the ambassadors to help us turn the tide. That means that we are going to have to flip this state. These anti-choice, anti-reproductive legislators in Tennessee have to go. And only 24 out of the 99 state representatives in Tennessee are supportive of reproductive justice and are on our side. So we have our mandate, we have our moment, and this is it. At this rate, we can't even get proactive bills out of committee. We can't protect IVF. We can't protect the right to abortion, and right-wing legislators are committed to strangleholding Tennessee for as long as possible. We have to break that wall down. And like I said, with Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket, this TAPP board has endorsed her wholeheartedly, and we are 10 toes down to breaking this supermajority, breaking down this wall. And with your help, we're going to do it. That means we've got to flip 4 seats, just 4 this year, to break the supermajority by 2028. With Kamala Harris's candidacy, the boost down ballot is going to be undeniable. We have an opportunity to do it. We have a great slate of all women in House District 75 in Montgomery County and Clarksville. Kamala Harris is at the top of the ticket. We've got Gloria Johnson running for the U.S. Senate. We have a fantastic candidate in Megan Berry, who is running for U.S. Congress. We've got Abby Phillips for State House and Karen Reynolds for State Senate. We've got a full slate of women that are ready and prepared to hold the line for reproductive justice. And we've got to get Kamala Harris in the White House, and we've got to get these ladies elected in Tennessee. And your support is going to make it possible. We're asking you to invest your time, your talent, and your treasure in the TAPP board so that we can support these candidates. We have 76 endorsed candidates across the state. We want you to check out our voter guide. And we'll put that link in the chat, but we are so excited that we are ready for this moment. We have candidates that are on the ballot that believe in reproductive justice. And now at the national level, at the top of the ticket, we've got the energy and we've got a presidential candidate that is ready to make it happen. So I'm going to turn it over to Francie, who's going to get in the nuts and bolts of how we win in Tennessee. And we are so excited to have you in the trenches with us. Let's go.
I mean, hey, I don't know how you all feel. I am so stoked. It is so exciting to like have, have a candidate that we can believe in. I love how Kara talks about like, we're not only 10 toes down for Kamala Harris, but we're 10 toes down on all of our candidates that we expect to elect this year. So we have very, 10 toes down. I mean, our toes are very busy this year, and so I'd like for you to make sure to take a look at that voter guide that we took a lot of time to do for you all so you can know who is strong on our issues. Be sure to vote today. Today's the last day of early vote before the primary election, which is next Thursday, August the 1st. So, make sure, after this call, run and take action today and beat those long lines that are going to happen at the end of the week. We are so excited that Kamala has bridged the enthusiasm gap for our voters. She's the first vice president and soon to be president that has ever visited a Planned Parenthood health center. How exciting is that? She's been a champion for our issues, and we are supporting state candidates that share that same commitment to reproductive health. As Kara mentioned, we have staunch opposition in the state legislature. So you could see their images here. I mean, we don't have just opponents. We have enemies who actively work to take our right to bodily autonomy away and endanger our abilities to raise our families in a safe and healthy environment. So up at the top here, you could see Elaine Davis. That's a picture of her when she was talking about sponsoring the legislation that took away the Nashville Community Oversight Board. I mean, she makes multiple anti-democracy votes. She also worked to restrict access to absentee ballots and early voting. I mean, that's terrible. Think about who that impacts, right? She voted in favor of expelling the Tennessee 3. That was Representative Justin Pearson out of Memphis, Representative Justin Jones out of Nashville, and of course, Gloria Johnson out of Knoxville, who is now running for U.S. Senate. And she's done countless votes harming the LGBTQ plus community and also the immigrant communities. She's voted against gun safety. She was one of the folks that voted to arm teachers. She's staunchly anti-abortion and anti-reproductive rights. She recently just supported and voted for the abortion support and travel ban for minors so that it puts a chilling effect on anybody that's willing to help those who are in need of care. She voted for the abortion ban. The abortion fund ban last year. And so she's definitely somebody that needs to be removed from office. You can also see there right in the middle in House District 49, Mike Sparks, who's in Rutherford County. He voted yes for the trigger ban, which was when Roe fell, it would go into effect here in Tennessee. He also voted for the 48-hour waiting period, as if those of us who are pregnant need to have a state mandated time for us to consider what we're doing, as if we don't know what's best for our lives and have to be forced by politicians to think about it, as if we don't take those weighty decisions seriously on our own. So disrespectful. He also voted yes for the constitutional amendment ending abortion rights back in 2011. So this is a long-standing enemy of reproductive health. He voted for a 6-week ban. Just recently, he voted in favor of the abortion travel and support ban for minors. He voted yes to prohibit mailing of abortion-inducing medications. And he also, get this, he voted to mandate that that our medical tissue had to be buried or cremated. I mean, he was doing all kinds of things that were just ludicrous. He also harms the LGBTQ and immigrant communities. He voted in support of the travel ban for gender-affirming healthcare for minors. And then recently he also co-sponsored, not just voted, but co-sponsored that the police have to work with ICE, the immigrant, and report to the immigrant on immigration. He also voted recently, just this year, just a few months ago, on arming teachers. You can see here also Jeff Burkhart, who is up in House District 75. We've had just stories from our own base that have met with him that actually he didn't understand how miscarriages work. So these are folks that are making decisions about our bodies, and actually he doesn't understand how bodies apparently work. He co-sponsored the abortion travel and support ban for minors this year. He voted in favor of a propaganda bill in 2024, and also voted yes for the abortion fund ban earlier this year. He co-sponsored the support and travel ban for gender-affirming care, and also for arming teachers. And then finally, at the bottom, you can see John Gillespie out of Shelby County in Memphis. Lots of anti-abortion and anti-reproductive rights legislation that he voted in favor of with the abortion travel and support ban for minors. Also, he also voted that we would have to bury or cremate medical tissue in our out of our health centers. And he also voted yes for the abortion fund ban. He voted in favor of the support and travel ban for gender affirming care. And that harms the LGBTQ plus community, of course, the immigrant community, as he also voted in favor mandating that police work with ICE. And he also voted in favor of a gay marriage efficient objection bill and the drag ban. So these are folks that, just to be clear, are not friendlies by any stretch of the imagination. So what's the solution to this, right? On this next slide, you'll see there are several solutions, and we're looking at places where there's a narrow vote gap. And so I'm calling you out, Montgomery County and Shelby County. Tennessee nationally is at the bottom of the barrel in terms of our voter turnout and voter registration. Within our county, Shelby County and Montgomery County are also the lowest turnout. So we need you. I hope you're all in line right now. We need you to not only vote this year, but get everybody else in your circle to vote this year. In Knoxville, we'll start out in Knoxville. There's Brian Goldberg, who's running against Elaine Davis, who I just showed you on the previous slide. I'm going to give you some quotes from them so you get a sense of their perspective. We do a rigorous endorsement process, and this is what Brian said on his questionnaire. Reproductive rights aren't under attack in Tennessee, they're gone. Deciding when to start a family is between a pregnant person and her family, doctor, and faith, not the government. I will take a stand to fight to reverse this disturbing trend and do everything I can through the power of my voice, legislation, and community involvement to stand up for Tennessee's women. And when we met with him, he said that he would be unequivocal on standing for our issues. In the next picture, you'll see Luis Mata, a fan favorite who's been with one of our partner organizations, Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition. He's running in District 49 down in Rutherford County in the Smyrna-Laverne area. He says that I'm running because I believe that those closest to the issues should be the closest to the solutions. Side note, that is a key grassroots community organizing principle. Very important. I love that he's taking that voice into the state legislature. He says, I'm running because all Tennesseans deserve the opportunity to thrive and not just survive. Reproductive justice is one of the many ways that we can create thriving communities across the state, and I will continue fighting alongside you for a state where our reproductive freedoms and rights are protected. It's time for representation that not only looks like us, but looks out for us. And how exciting would it be for Luis Mata to join the ranks within our legislature, being one of the first I think the first, if elected, Gabby Salinas as well, if she joins him in the ranks, as the first Latinx folks representation in the state. He mentions reproductive justice, which is such a wonderful concept. It's not just the right to abortion, but it's also our right to raise our children or choose to be able to have children in safe and healthy environments. And that's really critical. I mean, we are not a reproductive justice organization per se. We are a reproductive rights organization, but we stand with our reproductive justice allies in this fight. And so I'm really glad that Luis Mata and also, Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket are raising these issues in a public way, because we need to be standing 10 toes down on all those issues. Allie Phillips, she says, and she's coming out of Montgomery County in the Clarksville area in House District 75. She says, I'm running because I was denied the right to basic health care. I'm running because I don't want any other family to experience the pain my family did. I'm running because my daughter deserves a right to a high quality education in our public schools. I'm running because I shouldn't fear sending my child to school with the possibility of her not coming back home. I'm running because my LGBT neighbors deserve to love and be loved without consequence. I'm running because I care about my community and the people of my state. That feels so good to hear someone running. And what motivated her to run is that when she went to Jeff Burkhart to try to make abortion more accessible, because she's internet famous for her abortion story. You should look that up on your own. But he completely disregarded a really reasonable policy that would have enabled more pregnant people to deliver safely or terminate safely in Tennessee. So that's Allie Phillips in Montgomery County. And then finally, Jesse Husseth, he is running in Shelby County, that's in Memphis. And he says that this November, we must vote to protect safe and legal abortion, healthcare access, sex education, and healthy communities. We all deserve the right over our own bodies and health. I support contraceptive access and will work to protect those whose rights in all I do. Now, keep in mind, these are not things that we're writing about them. These are things from their own words that they wrote us to commit to us that that's how they're going to be champions for us. And I love how Husseth brings in like contraception access, because we know that it's never been just about abortion. It's never been just about abortion. It is about a full-scale assault on our ability to be sovereign over our own body and our own life choices. And it's also control over contraception and IVF and all of those things. So I'm going to, I hope that you're as fired up as I am. I'm glad that we're not sitting in a hopeless situation where it's like, oh gosh, things are so terrible. We have no idea what needs to be done. We actually know exactly what needs to be done. We have the largest phone program in the state right now working on these races, and you can help fund our paid caller program. You can look at the donor link in the chat, and we'd love for you to help us pay more callers. If you'd like to be a paid caller, you can apply to work with us this year. But we are, as Kara says, we are 10 toes deep on making sure, 10 toes down on making sure that we win this year. I'm going to turn it over to Melissa now because she's got a call to action for you all.
Thanks, Francie. Hi, my name is Melissa Sautter. I am the campaign division head and founder of the East Nashville Action Council. My job is to help oversee our field and phone bank teams for this election cycle and work with action councils and our community organizers to build power in Tennessee. I love my job. I love getting to help move and inspire our supporters into action, which means working with many of you. We have 4 very, very flippable districts, as you just saw, and we need to remove the incumbents that are sitting there. These districts are not going to flip themselves, and we need you. We need you to phone bank. We need you to canvass. Some of this might sound a little scary to you, but it is fun. I can guarantee. We've been doing phone banking since April 1st, and it has actually been incredible. We've had great conversations with people, and you'd be surprised. I think many of you on this call, we live in this bubble thinking that a lot of people know about the abortion ban in Tennessee. We've had multiple conversations with people who did not know that we are in the strictest abortion ban in the country. And so it's been really eye-opening to have some of those conversations. We've also had 78% of the people that we've actually talked to have been supporters. So this supports the stats you've seen out there, all of the research that you've seen, that Tennessee really is pro-reproductive rights. This is true, and we're hearing it in our phone calls. We need to start going door to door, and the time to act is now. We need you to help us break this supermajority. As you heard from our other speakers, like, this is a really, really exciting time. I'm not going to lie. 2 weeks ago, I might have been trudging to my desk to get to work. And as the top of this week, I bounce out of bed. I'm super excited. We have candidates all the way down the ticket that are aligned on reproductive rights. In House District 75, it's women all the way down the ticket, which is, I don't know if we've ever seen that before. It's extremely exciting. And the best part about it, the thing that made me jump out of bed, is that at the top of the ticket, we have somebody who's talking proactively about reproductive rights right out of the gate, right? This is making our jobs easier. This should make us easier, make it even easier for us to have those conversations, not just with our neighbors, not just with our friends, but with people we canvass, we phone bank with. So I am making a call to action for all of you to join us. We have, let me look, I'm looking at our numbers. So we have 112,000 phone calls we're trying to make for this election cycle. We've made a good dent so far. And actually, many of you that have joined, I saw our registration, have joined us, but we need you to join us for the rest of this election cycle, because the end is really the most important part, right? Reminding people to get out to vote. So we have a QR code here for you to volunteer. If you can scan that. We're also going to have a link in the chat here so you can see all of our action councils and the areas that we're building power in the state. If you're in Rutherford County, if you're in Montgomery County, if you're in East Nashville, if you're in Knoxville, we have people there that we want you to join in helping canvass and phone bank. So a few other things that you can do, so please join that. We have an August 17th, the weekend of action coming up. We'll be sharing that on the flip side of this event today. And that's a really great way. We're going to be doing a ton of training at this event. It'll be happening statewide. So if you've never phone banked or canvassed before, this is a great time for you to join us and also build a little bit of community, get to know some of the people in the districts where we're going to be hosting some of these weekend of actions. Donations are critical to our work. We need to be funding this work. It doesn't fund itself, right? So if you can, please take a moment and donate, scan that QR code at the bottom. We need your assistance, and recurring donations are very, very, very welcome. Even the small dollar amounts to the high dollar amounts, all of it matters. Voting. Today is the last day for early voting in Tennessee. Get out there right after this. Go ahead and take a friend and get out there and vote. For our primary. The primary is August 1st, but then definitely in October. Just a quick side story. I asked my husband to go ahead and text, 5 friends or 5 people he worked with about the vote, that there was voting happening in the last cycle. And he actually was able to motivate, just with those texts, 5 people to get out and vote that had never voted before or didn't even know that an election was happening. So that brings me to my last point here. The most important thing you can do right now, like even after this call, is use your influence with your network, right? Like those are the people you can immediately reach with any of these action steps, but then also ongoing, right? Like just because you think that your friends may know that today's last day of early voting, they may not. So people are busy. They have, and this is really the lowest turnout, turnout state in the nation is Tennessee. So we have the good news about that is the only place we have to go from here is up. So please take a moment, sign up for some of our phone banks, our canvases, our weekend of action, donate, vote, and use that influence in your network. We need you, and we need all hands on deck in this election cycle.
Great, thanks so much. So we will take some questions right now. At the bottom of the screen, there is a Q&A toggle icon that you can write your questions, and then Grace will let us know one of your questions so we can see it.
Yeah, there was one question here so far from someone who says, I'm active duty military affiliated, a Tennessee resident who lives in Texas, so I have to mail in my absentee vote. How can I be sure my vote is counted?
I'm going to hand it over to Kristal, because Kristal is our resident vote expert.
Well, thank you so much. And that's such a great question. And if I just want to repeat back, I always do that just to make sure I heard it correctly. You're living in Texas, but you're registered to vote in Tennessee, and you want to make sure that your vote will count. What I would suggest you do is to do or fill out an absentee ballot. There's information depending on which county you live in the state, but you can also go to the Secretary of State's website and find out the information on how many days in advance that absentee ballot is due. I would encourage you, just based on how elections have been happening so far, to get it in as soon as possible and find the information. And your vote will absolutely count if you complete the form and mail it back in. So your ballot should count. It should be accurate as long as you get it in, and you can go to the Secretary of State's website to find that information. And I would also encourage you, whatever county you live in, to just double check there as well.
Thank you, Kristal.
And it looks like one more thing. I'm sorry, Francie. It looks like Abby has dropped it into the chat. So to the person who had that question, the information is in the chat box. So thank you so much.
Great. We have another question. Can you speak to the legalities of purchasing abortion pills through sources like Plan C currently in Tennessee?
Hey, this is Ashley. I'll try to answer that question. It is illegal to mail abortion medication, mifepristone, to Tennessee. There may be organizations that are international organizations that are outside of the United States that might be willing to do that because they don't feel like it's a high risk to them to be prosecuted for that. But there's no organization within the United States that would be able to legally mail mifepristone abortion medication into Tennessee. You can travel to get abortion services. You can get abortion over telehealth in many states. You have to be in the state, to have the telehealth visit. There's states that don't have all the restrictions that we had when we were providing abortion services. They allow minors to consent for abortions. They allow nurse practitioners to be abortion providers. There's no waiting period. There's all kinds of state, like Illinois, for example, doesn't have the restrictions that we used to have. So I also strongly encourage you to call us for help. We can navigate you to get abortion services. We can help you get all the resources that you would need to travel. We can make hotel reservations. We can buy a plane ticket, a bus ticket. We can help with all the logistical arrangements to make that possible, and we can cover those costs. And not enough people are calling us for help because I think we have such an environment of fear here. But patients are not the criminals in Tennessee. It's the providers who are criminalized for abortion. So patients should reach out for help, and Planned Parenthood stands ready here to help you.
We have another question that says, electing Kamala is the highest priority. This will be determined by 3 swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Should we work with Planned Parenthood in those states?
I mean, I'm going to say absolutely. I feel like organizing is like love. The more you have, the more you can give out there. So absolutely. Now, I will say, as Tennessee Advocates for Planned Parenthood, we want you to also spend some time helping us flip seats here in Tennessee, because even with a federal win, we'll only get the impact so far unless we can actually play the long game and start making an impact on our own state legislature. But absolutely, I would absolutely encourage folks to get involved with those campaigns, get involved with some of the ballot initiatives that are happening in Florida and other states as well. I mean, those things are really important for all of our patients or people that need care.
We have one question about, do I have any representatives from Maury County? I only had Biden Harris on my primary. We can just say to that, you can just check our voter guide. We have a link in the chat. We'll put that back in there right now. You can read about all of the candidates that we've endorsed all across the state. So there should be information for you there.
Yeah, and specifically, in Murray County, there's James Dallas that we've endorsed in Senate District 28, and also Alex Pierce in House District 64. And there's also Tim Coy in House District 71. Those overlap within Murray County, and we've endorsed them all.
Another question says, do you have any advice on talking about the reality? Sorry. One of the biggest reasons not to vote for Trump is that he is a rapist. Maybe that's not talked about a lot. Do you have any advice on talking about this reality in a way that will help anyone on the fence vote for Kamala?
I mean, I think it would help, absolutely. And I would tie, rape to all of what we're talking about in terms of our bodily sovereignty, right? It all hangs under our own ability to be the ultimate controllers of our own body. And when people don't respect that, such as sexual assault, I mean, that is, very much connected to the thinking in terms of why the state legislature thinks that it ought to have more of a say over our own bodies than they grant us to have. So I think that could be a very powerful connection. I think in general, when we're talking about the candidates that I think it's important not only to state, as we did in this presentation, what we're against, because we definitely have opponents like Trump, for example, but also we have to do that part and parcel with who we're for and why. Those things have to be in tandem, and really talking about pushing forward on electing folks that do respect our bodily autonomy ultimately. We believe that unless you can have control over your own body, you really cannot be free. And when you talk about that from your own experience, I would also recommend folks to be reflective on your own experience as to, why are you on the call today? Why do you care about this issue overall? And include that into your conversation with other voters and family and friends as you encourage them to vote this year.
Kara, would you like the last word on that question about supporting Kamala?
Listen, if you're on the fence about the moment that we're in, let me make it clear. When it comes to reproductive justice, there is one candidate that is committed to ensuring our right to reproductive justice, health, and access without government interference, and that is Kamala Harris. There is no question about the opportunity that we are in to ensure that we restore the right to abortion care across the nation, the opportunity that we are in to leverage this headwind in Tennessee, to flip 4 seats in Tennessee, and to go on and break this supermajority so we can get back to governing in Tennessee in 2028. There is no question that the work that you all are going to be doing from now to November is going to be critical, both across this nation and across this state. So I encourage you, if you know somebody that is on the fence, make sure that you are committed and convicted, and that you are using your influence to go out there and let people know that there is no question, there is no fence. You are on the right side of history here, or you are complicit to ensuring that our rights are rolled back. So I just want you to have the courage. This TAPP board stands to support you. We encourage you, and we encourage your courage to go out there and to be bold, to be brave, to be sure that you are doing what it takes to make history right now. This is happening. We are in a day where this is happening, and we have an opportunity to be on the front lines. And so we thank you all for being here, for being a part of this. We thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to step in and learn a little bit more about how to get engaged. And we challenge you to go out there and to triple and quadruple the folks on this call. If somebody didn't make it, they didn't know about it, they want to get involved, you're going to be able to see this video. It's going to be out there. But we invite you to go to the website, ask more questions. You can go to advocacy at Planned Parenthood, advocacy at pptmn.org if you have more questions about how to get involved. If this is your first time here, welcome to the movement. We are so excited to have you. If you've been here all along, we're counting on your expertise to go out and duplicate more organizers just like you. And we ask that if all you can do is make a phone call, make it. If you can knock doors, knock them. If you can call folks at your church and at your school and at your job, do that. If you can donate $5, do that. But do what you can do in this moment. History is here. It's at our fingertips. It's at our toes. And we have an opportunity to make real change. So thank you so much for being here. We're excited that you are here, and we're excited about all of the change to come. We look forward to seeing you out there in the streets of Tennessee, making it happen.
For anybody who has more questions, you can please email us at advocacy@pptnm.org, and we're happy to follow up with you. Thank you so much, Kara and Kristal, Ashley, Melissa, for helping us connect with our folks today about this pivotal moment. Thank you, Kara.